Pride and Dustyn talking comics.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Pride and Dustyn talking comics. Where this week, me, Pride, and
me, Dustyn, Bite the Dust, BTD.
We're here to recommend some stuff for you to check out this week. So make sure you check out our other episodes because tons of awesome recommendations. And another week of recommendations. So we're going to open up with Dusty.
Also, we're not, picky. So if there's some things you want to see or some things you want us to talk about, we have a comment section. It's not down here right now, but when you see this, it should be down here. And just let us know what you want to see. Which I mean,
we're really open to checking out some new stuff. Yeah. So if you're like, hey guys, are you reading Saga? And I'll be like, yeah, totally, I'm up to date. Oh my god, Brian K. Von God. But comment, let us know what else you guys are reading so we can maybe pick it up too.
Yeah, because if it's something we don't read, we're totally cool with reading it.
Exactly.
So to start this off, I'm gonna recommend a Spider-Man title. It's older, but I think it holds up. It's really good, especially because we all know the big Spider-Man news that's going on right now. If you don't know, what are you doing on the internet? Like, come on, you need to. It's everywhere.
Do you Facebook?
But we'll actually have another segment where we'll talk about that. But I want to recommend Spider-Man Blue by Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale. Like I said, it's an older book. It's an older graphic novel. But, yeah, I'll hold it up. I'm being told to hold it up so you guys can see. I'm sorry. I get excited. But it really goes into the Peter Parker, Gwen Stacy dynamic that some of you saw in Amazing Spider-Man 2. It goes into that even more. And you get to see that even after she passes away, no one replaces Gwen Stacy in Peter Parker's heart. And it's also got Rhino, I think Vulture. I know Craven's in it, who we'll talk about a little later also. But Scorpion. So it's got a really good, Scorpion. It's got a really good story. And like I said, it really goes into the Gwen Stacy Peter Parker relationship.
Yeah, I've never actually heard of this, so you're letting me borrow this so I can check it out.
Yeah, totally.
Huge Peter Parker fan myself growing up. Always loved him. And Gwen Stacy and Peter Parker forever. And when you told me the way it opened, where it's basically Peter in the attic, just going through pictures of Gwen and like talking to a recorder, like how they first met and everything, dude, that just hearing the synopsis of this book broke my heart. I can't wait to actually sit down and read it.
Yeah, and this was Jeff Loeb in his heyday. Tim Sale doing the art. They also have a couple other, they call them the color books. Hulk Gray, I believe, and Daredevil Yellow. So, but yeah, I'm recommending Spider-Man Blue. You have a recommendation that's a little more current.
Right. So, I'm catching up on the current stuff going on right now, and I've always been a really big X-Men fan.
Who hasn't?
Who hasn't? I love the X-Men around. So, I was catching up on the current stuff, and I want to recommend All New X-Men by Bendis. Oh my god, I have not had so much fun reading this new run in so long. Just a little bit of a backstory here. So, if you follow an X-Men or if you're not, you'll the last arc was called the Phoenix Saga. If you're familiar with Jean Grey and the Phoenix, Phoenix went away. It comes back to Earth looking for Jean Grey.
And not that horrible X-Men Last Stand Phoenix.
No. The good comic Phoenix. And she ends up can't find Jean Grey because Jean Grey's dead. So she ends up possessing 4 other mutant people. Cyclops, Scott Summers, Emma Frost, Namor, and my new favorite character because she is such an awesome character, Ilyana Rasputin. Magic. Long story short, that whole thing ends with Cyclops basically killing Charles Xavier. Boom. Kaput. Dead.
Kind of a big deal.
Magneto's reaction to all of that, oh my god, it was so heartwarming. It was so good. So then that's where All New X-Men starts. Eventually, what ends up happening is it was Xavier gone, who's going to run the X-Men. Cyclops thinks he should run it. Wolverine thinks he should run it. So they kind of decide, they split up, they make their own teams. Cyclops teams up with Magneto and makes his own school. Wolverine teams up with Kitty Pryde and makes his own school.
Now, one thing I think that's really cool about this is Cyclops, Scott Summers, is known as Xavier's number one student. Like, he's following the Xavier's dream
to the T.
Like, the Boy Scout. That's what he's called. Wolverine actually
calls him Boy Scout.
Refers to him as the Boy Scout. And I don't know if you just heard Fran. He teams with Magneto. That I get goosebumps from that because that is crazy when you think about it.
It really is.
The way they changed, because I know I've always been a Cyclops fan, but I do understand some people think he's boring. They don't, he's the leader, he's no fun.
He's so not boring in this.
But the way they changed him, the way they made him basically turned Xavier's top student into the new Magneto is...
The new Magneto is the exact phrase to call him to. Because when you read this, he is the new Magneto. But he's not even the main character in this. So, Beast, Hank McCoy, is talking one day with some Kitty Pryde and Wolverine, and Wolverine mentions if Scott could see himself, not Wolverine, Iceman mentions, Bobby, says if the past Scott, when they first got together under Xavier, could see what he has become today, that should shock Scott into coming back home and stop following Magneto. So Beast says, that's a great idea. So he goes back in time to get Scott, and ends up pulling Scott Summers, Cyclops, Jean Grey, Bobby, the Iceman, Hank, Beast, and Warren, Angel.
Yep.
From the past.
The original X-Men.
The 5 original X-Men. He pulls them to the present from the past. And it is so well written. Jean Grey's powers start developing faster and differently. Scott starts becoming this more of a rogue person. Scott and Jean break up, and Scott ends up dating X-23.
That's
I'm letting you know how
there.
that ends. Emma Frost being able to finally take out all her frustrations on a young Jean Grey. There's so many subplots upon subplots among subplots in this that are so good. At one point, the Chitauri Empire finds out that Jean Grey is alive again, and they want to hold a court to basically judge her guilty for destroying the planets the Phoenix has killed. So you have this Jean Grey who has not been possessed by the Phoenix yet on trial when the Guardians of the Galaxy have to team up with the X-Men. They come to Earth, they try to save him, and they stop Jean Grey from dying.
Which
this is what this is
totally brings in,
the new Guardians.
The new Guardians coming into it.
And you've got Peter Quill, Star-Lord, basically trying to bang Kitty Pryde successfully.
Which, I mean,
Who would?
Green skin, white skin, black skin.
Yeah.
Peter Quill doesn't care.
Peter Quill don't care.
No.
Gamora's in here, she's awesome. Rocket and Groot are amazing. There's so many jokes like where Jean Grey, because she's a psychic, she sees Groot and he's like, I am Groot, and she's reading his mind and she knows exactly what he's saying.
But all that comes out is
I am Groot. And I really love that. I think it's in here somewhere. It's such a good thing. And then they have this new character, Angela, who I was just informed is actually from Spawn. And she is a complete badass. When she flies into outer space, no suit, and just destroys like 4 or 5 Chitauri Empire battlecruisers by herself, and Rocket's like, marry me. And Gamora's like, no, marry me. I laughed. I loved it.
I'm just imagining those two together. That would not be good.
No, it
but
would not.
My favorite part is though, it's like, come on, Hank. When has time travel, worked at all?
That is my favorite. My favorite part of the whole time is in S.H.I.E.L.D. They cut the S.H.I.E.L.D. and they go, there's been a disturbance in the time continuum, and just Agent Maria Hill, who's now head of S.H.I.E.L.D., is like, Hank McCoy, what the hell? And everyone's like, oh, well, it might not be Hank. No, it's Hank McCoy. It's like, well, we can't be. No, trust me. When you've had this job as long as I have, anytime anything goes wrong in the space-time continuum, it's Hank McCoy. And my favorite quote is like, everyone thinks that Wolverine is the wild ball, the chaotic one. Now, Wolverine has a set of rules that he'll follow. A very messed up, screwed up, psychotic set of rules. Hank McCoy does whatever he wants. He doesn't care about no rule. It's such a great book. I loved it. So many times I had to put the book down because I was laughing too hard. The action's amazing, on plot's fantastic. Like I said, subplots among subplots, story, character development. I love it. Hands down, recommend all new X-Men.
Now, I have one more. There was 2 that I wanted to choose. The first one, Spider-Man Blue, is more of a dramatic kind of story. For those people that like, relationships type stories and really personal. And then I wanted to give you one that was pretty action oriented. And that one,
you can't get better than
that
this.
one is Spider-Man Kraven's Last Hunt.
Hands down, one of the top 5 most iconic Spider-Man runs of all time.
Yes, definitely. Just to kind of break it down, Kraven the Hunter, he wants to prove himself, and he wants to prove that he's better than Spider-Man so bad, and you get to actually see in his mind and see what's going through him, and I'm just gonna spoiler alert. It's not pretty. He's psychotic, but I believe it's vermin. Spider-Man can't stop vermin. Well, Craven actually tranquilizes Spider-Man and buries him alive. Takes the suit and captures vermin, proving that he's better than Spider-Man in his mind. Luckily, our fearless hero, the neighborhood Spider-Man, Peter Parker, is able to dig himself out, and he goes and he fights with Craven, but Craven to himself has already proven that he's better, and there's a reason it's called The Last Hunt, and you can find that out. I don't know if I should.
No, let's keep it spoiler.
Let's keep it.
We've been pretty spoiler-ish. I think we can keep that.
But like I said, it has a big dramatic ending, and like I said, The Last Hunt. I definitely recommend it just because, to be honest, he does beat Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I mean, Craven does beat him. He buries him alive. He could have killed him at any point, but that wasn't the point. The point wasn't killing him.
It was to be the better hunter.
It was proving that he was the better hunter than the Spider.
He is the ultimate predator.
And he's the ultimate predator.
Such a good run. It's honestly one of the most iconic Spider-Man of all time. It's up there with the whole Birth of Venom, the symbiote arc, Infinity Gauntlet. It's honestly incredibly well written. The art's a bit dated, but I still think it's honestly a must-have and a must-read by anyone who claims to be a Marvel fan.
This is definitely more story about the story than the art. Same with Blue, but I like Tim Sale's art. It's really good. But this is definitely more story. It's got the drama, but it's a lot more action in it than the last one. And Craven is one of Spider-Man's top nemesis. Nemesis. I don't know. But like I said, he was in the other book also. You're gonna, he's one of the toughest people that Spider-Man's going up against. Yeah. Because he's not a thug. He's not a criminal.
So it would be Nemesis. I'm sorry, I'm still on that.
It wouldn't be. He's not a thug. He's not a criminal. He's a hunter, and he's trying to prove his, that he's the alpha male against Spider-Man. So definitely, with Spider-Man movie coming out, if you just know Spider-Man from the movies and you want to check out something, check out those two. If you want to get into something that's more recent that just came out, all new X-Men, totally cool. We're probably not going to get X-Men with Marvel anytime soon.
No, it's too much money.
But
if you're ever curious on what X-Men would be like if Hugh Jackman, Wolverine, didn't essentially replace any major character arc with Wolverine, or if you take, I don't know, something iconic like Days of Future Past and just replace Kitty Pryde with Wolverine, or I don't know, take X-Men Apocalypse and replace Apocalypse with Wolverine, or take any other major X-Men property and just replace whoever it's supposed to be there with Hugh Jackman. If you actually want to read something that's good, check out the X-Men comics. They're good.
I really don't think the movies are that bad. Except for Origins and X-Men 3.
Origin and X-Men 3 were pretty garbage.
Yeah, the rest I can give a pass to.
But the best thing about Days of Future Past, besides the fact that they did...
Oh, yeah, that he got rid of those.
They completely...
Oh, yeah, that was... I totally made up for the Hugh Jackman going back in time because they got rid of those pieces of crap. But
I guess,
anyway...
Yeah, I guess that's really the end of it, eh?
Yeah, that's...
that's been Talking Comics with Pride and Dustyn.
Yep, and all new X-Men, Spider-Man, check it out, and we'll catch you next time.